Okay, wow, here we are. It's a new episode of the Filmageddon Vodcast, episode 2. Here we are, me, Frank Soldado, and I've got Adam Grundy over there. How's it going, Adam?
No, it's the other way. Is it? Yeah, it is this way. They're not flipped. No, it's
No,
that
no,
way.
it's the other way. Yeah.
Yeah, I live in the upside down. It's like toilets in Australia. They travel backwards. Hi, Frank. It's lovely to see you, and it's lovely to speak to you, and it's lovely to be back on this our home, which is the internet, because that's how all of our relationships are now. And we've been doing it for quite a while, but now everyone having to experience that thing of being only able to contact people through computers. So yeah, it's I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I think it's been a pretty slow week. It's that first week of being like last week it felt like exciting in a way, I guess. Like things were still new. Things were changing every day. And now since we've been on lockdown here since sort of Monday night, it's just sort of been like everything's sinking in and it's like just a bit boring and it's not the most exciting around here, around Soldado Towers, I guess I'll call it. But yeah, it's fine. There are people worse off right now who I'm sure are having a lot less of a fun time than I am. I was going to say it's quite funny that you said how everyone else is getting used to doing this stuff online. Whereas, yeah, we've been doing like the podcast for pretty much the like 75% of its lifespan through Skype, and I'd think for a large majority of that, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. So it's quite funny to see like these podcasts that have been going on for quite a while, sort of scrambling around and making a big deal of like, oh, our first remote podcast, like 300 episodes in. It's like amateurs. Yeah. Like we've been. Do you know what it takes to sort of produce like people in like 3 or 4 different time zones at some times? Like, I mean, we've done this podcast with you in Thailand, Blair here in the UK, me in California. Like we've been able to do this for a while now, so this is old stuff for us, which is why we're doing video now, and that's proven pretty difficult because
it has.
It's the second episode of the vodcast, and we've recorded 4 episodes of the vodcast. So learning this OBS software and its little fun parts has always been good. But yeah, not too bad. It's been apart from the boredom around the house, there's been some excitement with visas. That's right. Me and Adam both needed to fiddle around with our immigration status a bit. And, I'm going to say right out the bat that the UK switched to like a private company doing all their visa stuff since the last time I did my visa. So last time it was still the UK government running things, and things took a while. Like I remember my passport was gone for like what seemed like years. This time out, I went and did my stuff in Croydon, handed in my paperwork, took my pictures, took my biometrics and all that. I think I did that on Sunday, and I got my biometric letter here from the Home Office and my new visa. All of that today.
Wow.
So
you get a little card with it.
I get a little card, my residency permit, and I'm going to put my thumb over the number just in case any nefarious individuals are out there. So I am legal now until October 2022. 2.5 more years for 2.5 more £1,000. So it's pretty fun. Especially when the freelance world is crumbling beneath us, all around us. So that was fun. What about you?
I was supposed to fly back yesterday to the UK for a wedding. Just wing it from there. Have some try and set up some meetings and stuff. And the wedding got cancelled, and our flights got cancelled. So I had to leave the country because I can come in and out. I'm not going to get into specifics of it because it's none of your business. But I had to basically leave by like 2nd of April, and then now they've closed the borders. So I had to go and get like an extension, and I can only get like 2 months. So I'm hoping that a worldwide catastrophe that's like tore through business, private, the public purse strings, the health and well-being of like old. You have people like under 18 who've got this like virus, and the scary thing is that you travel around and you don't even know like if you're carrying it. Is it a headache? Is it just being hungover because out of sheer boredom you're drinking, which isn't a good thing to do, especially if you're from the north. It's like a fucking thing kicks in. You're like, this is what it should be, and you're like, no, I'll fight it. On top of all that, yeah, hopefully it finishes in 2 months. Otherwise, be interesting to see doing this from inside a prison.
A prison,
no,
yeah.
it won't be. I'll just have to. I'll be coming home, and I'll be I'll be under quarantine, but I'll be back home in my lovely little town.
Yeah.
A town. And I'll be in my bedroom for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. So that'll be fun. Yeah, no, it's weird. It's affecting everybody in all different ways, and it was an experience today to go and wake up at like 6 a.m. and I'm in like the sticks and stuff, and so like we had to like go and have the weirdest experience there, just the weirdest room, and it's like they're trying to do like what's it called? Where it's like distance. What's it called? We're in like
the 2 meters thing. The
2 meters thing.
Basically, just give people personal space.
Yeah, I mean, we should have just done this from like fucking.
We should
years
have always
ago.
been doing this.
Yeah, but then how would like creepy men on buses talk to women?
Wow.
They'd have to just shout abuse at them rather than sort of
come over here.
Come over here. That sounds like it's like a fight is going to break out.
You definitely know who the weirdos are now, because they're the ones still encroaching in on that 6 feet sort of radius around people.
Yeah, it didn't change them. They're just like, what's social distancing? What do you mean? Like, I'm a creep nonstop.
Yeah, there's no stopping me.
Exactly. So yeah, all types of people were in that fucking office today. But yeah, I'm okay for now.
Well, good. I mean, should we check in on some of our friends as well? Friends of the Filmageddon podcast, contributors. Dare I say friends? Just full stop, because we had a couple people call in who couldn't be involved on this podcast directly, especially because we're working out all the kinks. And like I said, we did try to do a 3-person episode, but that's lost. That's we've buried that one.
Keep that as evidence for now on.
Yeah. So let's take a look here. I'm gonna bring it up here. We've got our old buddy Luke has sent us a video message. So nice of Luke. So I am gonna go ahead and play Luke's message. Let's see what he had to say.
Boys, how are you? Just wanted to say a big hello and congratulations on the podcast. I think it's going very well. Currently in isolation, like everyone else, and the way I've been coping with that has been watching a lot of TV and film. Been watching some quality entertainment for Netflix reality show Love is Blind, where people are trapped in a pod and they try and find love. Absolutely terrible, but brilliant, absolutely fantastic, engrossing viewing. The way they find these absolute morons is great, but you learn to love them. I think if I was trapped in a pod with some of these guys, I'd end up loving them. Other than that, been watching old episodes of Peep Show, because it's nostalgic and makes me feel good. I think in times of strife, that's often a nice thing, isn't it? That's very nice. On top of that, been watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I know that the Lord of the Rings trilogy, we're watching it every night, one a night. It's only 3 nights, but watching those, and I know that that's a topic of debate within the Filmageddon allegiance. I know that some people don't have high opinions of that trilogy. I remember one of you even said, I don't give a shit about swords and sandals and all that nonsense. But I'll let you guys talk about it. I love the films. Rewatching it, I think I've re-energized my love for Fellowship. It's a simpler, condensed story. I think it's great, really great. All the Shire stuff is a bit, the Shire is a bit lame. But yeah, I suppose it's important. But anyway, I'm holding up well. I'm not going crazy. I am not like Ryan Reynolds in Buried. I am not like the ending to The Vanishing. I'm not trapped in such a small room that I'm going crazy, but the flat isn't huge, shared between 2 people. so you can get in each other's way. I think, yeah. Anyway, I'm doing well. Love you guys. Love the podcast. Keep going. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Oh, that was nice to hear back from our old buddy Luke. Seems like he's getting on well. Seems like he's surviving. And apparently one of us hates sword and shield and sandals bullshit. He's sort of putting a thinly veiled attack out there, Adam.
Oh, let's not say attack. He knows. Listen, I've said to him many a time, I don't like fucking swords and shields and magic, and like I'd never ever get into Harry Potter. I think it's stupid. The best of it's stupid. I also know that I'm in the wrong completely, because I'll go like magic's stupid, swords are stupid, and then you're like, oh, like here's the Jedi, and I'm like, that makes sense. Or it's like, and here's the X-Men, and they have essentially magic powers. But yeah, I just can't be asked with like swords and all that kind of like. I just hate it. It really boils my blood anytime I see anything to do that. Saying that though, I actually don't mind Lord of the Rings. Like I think it's an event. It's if someone was like, Adam, you have to watch a film that's all fucking battles and they're always so boring, aren't they? You've seen so many films now, and you've seen two people run at each other with swords, and you know exactly what they do. Block. And then that's it. They're all the same. Nothing's different. No film's different. They're all fucking choreographed by the same like 5 people anyway. So the thing is though, like, you know what? If you're gonna have a Sunday lunch or a Sunday roast, and you go to like your mum's, or you go to like maybe your favorite like fucking pub, out of the way pub that does it, and you go, that is fucking class. That is a Sunday roast. Okay, cool. But if you then go into like Toby Carvery, and then it's like, yeah, no, it's a roast. It's like, yeah, but it's shit. It's a shit version. Why? You've already had the good version. No reason to, eat any more. If you are, you're just doing yourself a disservice. And the same with Lord of the Rings. I don't like fucking swords and shields and fucking, oh, be careful, this spell will turn you into. But I mean, they're pretty good films. Like all three.
Yeah, they're decent. I mean, they I guess they sort of pioneered what's become like the standard climactic battle in films now, haven't they? With that whole, here's an expansive CGI army against an expansive CGI army, and you see them sort of approach, and then it's just a bunch of CGI monsters hacking and slashing, like you said. I mean, I'm trying to think of. Someone will probably correct me, but I feel like those films were the first ones that properly did that. I mean, like, when did The Mummy 2 come out? when did The Mummy Returns come out? Because I remember there was one at the end of that with all the shitty Anubis dogs versus whoever. Not the Mummy.
I like how there's the king. Yeah, you have it as like the king returns, and then the mummy returns, and then
it's all about returning. I mean,
it's all return.
Have they done that? Yeah, they've definitely done that in like the new Star Wars films as well, haven't they? Sort of like big armies running at each other. Only they did it on a ship. They did it on a spaceship where they were all.
See, even that was stupid. Yeah. Like, oh, it's a horse. It's like, well, no, it's not a horse. It's like a gubu gabba. And here's this random woman. It's like, hey, what happened to Rose? And it's like, look that way.
No. Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, what happened to that character that I kind of liked? It's like, you didn't like it. It's like, I kind of did. She had a bit of a story. Oh, look, it's Finn's new mate.
And
same as the old
Kerry
mate,
Russell
but different.
Under a visor, doing stuff.
Oh yeah.
People love Felicity. I wonder where what's the next evolution of like a battle in films? Like, is this how it ends? Is it always going to be wall of CGI against wall of CGI, or is there another evolution as they kept changing and evolving up to like the Lord of the Rings movies? It feels like it's really stagnated the past sort of 15 years. Like, I don't know where else you could go to sort of liven that up. I mean, even by the time you got to the Hobbit movies, that was more the same, especially those second two. And it was just, every time one was on, it was like, I can't deal with this. The only difference was, instead of one army versus one army, it would be like, oh, there's a third army, there's a four, oh, it's the 5 armies, that's right, there's 5 of them, so now there's 5.
Yeah.
And it's like,
no,
just keep adding more CGI? I don't get it.
I mean, it's an industry that that they've kind of justified themselves, like, they've created their own industry, and now they need to make projects like that to justify having those, like, studios open and stuff. But I the same, that goes on to a larger thing of, like, I'm not really, even when it's stuff like the Avengers, which is the fucking world's biggest film and all this stuff, when they used to have, like, these things called cinemas that were open, which are like big screens, like a big version of this, but you would go and you would, like, sit in a room with other people and watch it. It
sounds cool.
I'm actually I'm kickstarting it. It's called Cinema, and you can catch it down here on my OnlyFans. No, I don't know. Like, I'm with you. Like, I'm just kind of not into seeing. There's too much going on the screen for me, and it probably works for some, like, children who are just like, but, like,
what is wrong with those kids?
They've been inside so long. That, like, that's probably good for them, and it's a lot of, like, fireworks. It's looking at fireworks, and fireworks are great. But what's cooler is when you just see, like, a tree on fire, because, like, that's like, oh, what's going on there? I don't really give a shit about all this stuff. I mean, that's even
maybe
better.
just living a battle is what we need. We need to just live in a battle, right? We could start a battle.
I'm not doing that. I don't want to fight. I don't care to fight, and I don't want to shoot anyone. But I think that, like, isn't it interesting when you have, like, a scene, say, from, like, is it Old Boy, where he's, like, going down, like, the single corridor, and he's just smashing, and it's like, how does a film that doesn't have CGI for that scene, like, and it's so well done, and it's just, like, it's so simple to go, like, yeah, no, but we film it, like, I can't even. I think what the point of view of the aspect is, but
isn't
just
it
like
side on is almost like the wall isn't there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how you describe. It's like a fucking side-scrolling game in a way.
It's like a Wes Anderson movie almost. The way those things are always shot, like, flat.
Yeah, exactly. So
Wes
I think
Anderson
that, like,
remakes Old Boy. Let's go.
Okay. Wow.
That's on my Kickstarter.
I guess I'll have an octopus. I guess. I don't like it. And fucking Gwyneth's there with a goop. That's her product, not a funny. Yeah, no, it's isn't it funny that you see, like, a scene like that and it just sticks in your mind, and like, just envision what it looks like now, and the choreographing that takes, and I don't know, it becomes just part of, like, cinema history. And if someone said, think of 10 shots that happen when the orcs are fighting, I don't know who else is in it. Goblins? I don't know.
Dragon? I don't. But yeah, no, it is exactly what you say, because, like, all that stuff, it just nothing stands out, right? There's no part of it. And, like, with something like Avengers, like Endgame, when it's, like, this big massive battle at the end, they've got a slight step up over the competition, because it's like they've made all these films pointing out individual characters, so when you watch it, it's like, oh, I know those individual characters. They're on screen for, like, a split second or in the background, so whatever. But it connects in your mind a bit more. But like you said with Old Boy, and I guess films like you've got your films like John Wick's and things like that. Now people tend to connect a bit with those, like, more visceral, close quarters action and fight scenes, as opposed to, like, when you watch, say, like, if it's The Matrix 2 or whatever, when Keanu's fighting 1,000 fake Agent Smiths, and someone posted this video online the other day. They're like, look, this fight up to a point is quite good, because they were using doubles, and that was really Keanu, and then they pinpointed the moment where it turns shitty because everything becomes CGI, and it's just a big fucking mess of, like, nonsense. And even go two ends of the Marvel spectrum, like all the movies, big army, blah. But then go to, like, the Netflix shows, and they did it a bit to death after they realized the first one worked. But, like, their corridor fight scenes, people really connected with those in the same way they did with, like, Old Boys or John Wick. So maybe it's just, like, I think these movies just need to scale back and those Hobbit films, it was like Peter Jackson just took a couple of lines or something and was like, no, more, just more. What do you want to do? Well, you know what we did with Return of the King? More. All the time. The whole film is what fight scene. Do it.
It's. I think you're right. I think it becomes like a level of like maturity of the viewers and a maturity of the art form, and like I guess like a maturity of the industry. You're gonna have, when you're a kid, you want to see. Take like a sort of a James Bond thing. James Bond, was very serious and then became very goofy, and now is kind of like flipped back to just being very not serious, but there's like a subdued to it. They pinpoint the moments rather than having like Jaws blast off with his girlfriend in fucking space. Do I prefer those ones? Yeah, but then maybe it's just because that just comes down to personal opinion. So I think that like I think like say like Bond, I can see the next 5 installments. Depending on what happens around it, because I remember like when like Casino Royale came out and you had stuff like Jason Bourne and everything, and it felt like there was a bit of an arms war. So it's like, well, we can't go too stupid. We can't go back to like having an invisible car or whatever, but we need to make it a little bit more like Bond. So you think, well, did they just keep doing it like a bit more serious because they had the competition making them do that? Is it if Marvel and Disney as a fucking whole don't have any real serious competition, that means that they're either going to have to bulk up, double down on those like big scenes, those big settings, the big get bigger and bigger and bigger, or do you have like you pull it right back down to even like the last fucking Spider-Man, like with like Sony and stuff, like for what it was, like there was like a big scene with fucking at the end with those if you've not seen it, you've seen it, fucking hell, with Mysterio and stuff. It's interesting that what happens outside of like these certain film franchises and everything, and how I don't know where I'm going with this, to be honest. I think I've gone stir crazy. It's like 35 degrees here right now, and I'm in a room that has like the air conditioning is up there.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Like.
It is.
I can't put it on because it sounds so loud. So I'm so hot.
It's okay. We're gonna get through this, Sam. Should we check in on another friend of ours? Should we check in on old Blair Dog and see what he's been up to?
Yes, please.
All right. So Blair sent us in an update. So let's take a look at what he's had to say.
All right, lads. What's the story? Heard you're doing a bit of a vodcast. Would love to have been on it, but have to pretend to be working. Because I think work realised that I was sort of stealing a living, sitting at home, not really doing anything. So they've set up a few Skype calls and WhatsApp voice messages during the day so that they can keep tabs on me. Yesterday they had they sent an email saying that there's going to be one at 3:30, so I just fucked about until about 3:15, checked my emails. They'd moved it to 3, so I jumped on late. So I think they're just trying to control me somehow. It's good that the paranoid delusions have already set in. But yeah, I just wanted to check up on you, see that you're all okay. Frank hasn't gone crazy, hasn't been eaten by his dog. Adam is still alive, hopefully. No, it's all we can wish for, really. But yeah, just sat in quarantine. Fuck all. Played a lot of Football Manager, played a whole season yesterday. Watched that Tiger King, a few episodes of that. Who knew people that owned all them nutty tigers would be fucking oddballs? It's good to know. I think the one thing I want to take away from this whole quarantine is I want to look like De Niro in Cape Fear. Prison job after this. I want to be ripped. Luscious hair down to my shoulders. A few dodgy tattoos as well. I think I might get a few dodgy tattoos, do them myself maybe. Got enough time, so that's all. Just checking up on you. Hopefully, we'll hopefully have Luke's little trailer for his film Cult. Well done, Luke. And enjoy. Hopefully I'll be with you again sometime soon.
There you go. A little check-in from Blair Dog. That was nice.
Yeah.
Going a bit not stir crazy, but yeah, like most of us, there's not a lot going on at the minute. But it's good to see him still sticking strong and wanting to look like De Niro in Cape Fear there apparently as well.
He looked a lot like fucking. It looked like Rear Window. He's just sat at that window, just staring out but nobody's allowed out, so he's just staring at just like the grass growing behind his house. I don't know
how are you gonna get to be like De Niro in Cape Fear if you can't hit the gym? I guess De Niro was doing it in a prison cell. To be fair, wasn't he? He was doing like the dips on the bed and everything. So
he's got the same tattoos as Blair, so there is that.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is, for reference, this is basically what Blair wants to become. He's not far off mentally speaking. I don't think.
Yeah,
he's at the edge. He can jump over it at any time. That's what makes him great.
Exactly.
And he's got the tattoos like you said. So, best of luck on the transformation, Blair. And I might pick him up that shirt now for his next birthday because it's obviously, what he's aspiring to. But something that Blair did allude to there was something that our buddy, our good old friend who we heard from earlier in the podcast, Luke, he's made a film. He's made a feature-length film. We've mentioned it a lot on the podcast and on our social media channels. It's called Cult. The film was, He was a labor of love. He put a lot of work into it over the last few years. We finally were able to see it not too long ago. And we've got the trailer here, which has just sort of come out recently. So what we're going to do is we're going to play that trailer for you. And then we'll talk about it a bit afterwards. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's check out Cult, shall we?
This is the world after our souls have been transported onto June's comet. You can see people on fire, buildings on fire, a lot of fire.
I've been in Fate for about 2 years now. Before that, I was in a few different groups. There was a Prism of Light. Before that, there was Jebediah's Temple. Then I fell in with the Benson family Lovin', and that was before Mr. Benson got arrested.
That wasn't a band. We're like a cover band. We would take famous songs and change the lyrics ever so slightly so we get around the copyright infringement and then sell them to advert companies.
In 1999, me and a small documentary crew lived amongst Friends at the End, a mysterious religious group based in a remote village in Cornwall.
I got one!
Since their formation, Fate have become infamous for their strange beliefs involving aliens, comets, and being linked to the disappearances of former members. Friends at the End were probably the most controversial church in Britain.
Wow! What do you know? It was a film trailer we just watched.
Yeah. That was an exclusive actually. We had permission from the director, writer, and
copyright holder,
producer.
Don't forget about
copyright holder.
Yeah.
So it's been very interesting actually. Like, if you are like if you're interested and you like what you see, you should do because it's, as I said, it's labor of love, and I can't think of many films that it's actually like. Check out Luke's the update on Instagram for the film, which is at Friends at the End.
Friends at the End. Yeah, and you know what? I've got to say, not biased at all here, but it is a very good film. We all watched it, and obviously stars a bunch of attractive people. You probably spotted a few really handsome devils in there throughout that trailer, and hopefully there'll be some chances once we're all able to go outside and cinemas open again, that we want to set up some screenings for it. It'd be nice, maybe we'll get it on some screens that we're intimately familiar with. Who knows? But you will have a chance to see the film in the coming months anyway, because it deserves to be watched. It's a great little indie film, and in a world where a lot of us just sort of stall out on our creative endeavors, Luke has pushed through and broken through the wall. So yeah, massive congratulations again to Luke there. So
yeah, it's been very interesting watching him have an idea for so long and stick to it. And also, like, I've seen him cut it down. Like, I've seen a fair few versions of it at this point, and I think it's been a good lesson in, like, what, you know, even though I've not been doing something like that, like, it's been a good lesson in, like, how someone creative works, because, you know, you become very attached to, like, certain scenes and certain characters, certain plot devices, and just being able to, like, take something out and shorten the time a little bit, and then actually as you watch it, you're like, oh fuck, this actually really doesn't change too much, but it also adds a lot to it. And I think that he's done that over the course of him, like, making this film, and it's, yeah, I don't think there's much like it. That might just be because I'm fucking stupid, and maybe there's like 20 films like this, but to me, I don't think there is. And yeah, it's like, I mean, he even sort of, like, it plays the sort of filmmaker within the film, so there's a lot of, like, things he's had to juggle. There's a lot of, like, hats he's had to wear, and which is we all have to do now because of you know, male pattern baldness. We all have to wear a lot of hats. I personally wear a beanie even in 35-degree heat. No, he's had to do a lot of things, so it's been interesting that, like, it's interesting to see an auteur kind of voice all the way through.
Yeah.
Especially, and even though, because we fucking know him, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, here's a film. It's like, oh, holy shit, like, that was living inside someone this whole time. So
yeah, and we sort of, I mean, we did get to see it evolve from start to finish. Like, you know, he sent all of us, like, the drafts of his script throughout. Like, I can remember reading the first draft of it, or the first one that he put out there, at least, on, like, a train from Wivenhoe to London, like, you know, when I used to live out there, and just like, wow, this has a lot of potential there. And as you said, like, I think you saw a lot more of the progress and how it changed than most of us. And it was funny because, like, at some point, wasn't it like over 2 hours or close to 2 hours, and, you know, we got it down to, like, a brisk, like, 89 some around there minutes. I forget how long was the cut that we watched.
yeah,
but that takes, you know, that if it's something you make, it is hard, as you sort of alluded to, is like taking things away from something that you hold so close is something that I find really hard. Like, and you know, me and you, we've got our little project that we're working on, and it's been sort of held up for a few weeks now, but, like, even that at the start, it was like, oh yeah, here's this idea, and then it's like, oh, okay. But now that we're letting in, like, I was letting in another voice, it's like, oh, wait, okay, these things I've not thought of, but actually sound like improvements. And it's like, but you know, in further back of the mind, you're like, oh, but that means I have to change something that I thought was good at first. But it's weird, like, this whole creative thing. And that's, I think, going back to this whole, like, everyone being locked in now and, like, a lot more free time in the house. It's like... Luke made this, obviously, without any sort of government mandate to stay inside his house. He just actually dedicated the time and put the effort into it. But now, I think with all of us, is like me and you, probably all the rest of the guys, like Blair, Luke, all of them, we're probably all in a similar mindset of, like, should really be putting this extra time to, like, a creative use. And, you know, we're taking, like, baby steps in doing that. Like, this vodcast is sort of one of the steps we're taking in doing that, in a way of just making more content and doing more podcasts and things like that. And eventually, hopefully, a little live quiz stream for people. Like, we'll get the details soon. But yeah, you know, the other day I was taking a shower, and I've had this one idea in the back of my head for, like, weeks now, it seems. And then something just suddenly clicked in the shower, and I was like, oh my God, like, I was just in the shower, like, writing out story ideas on, like, the shower wall. I was like, okay, this, oh my God. I was like a crazy person. And then I, like, quickly went out, ran through the house naked, ran to the computer, typed some sentences down.
I'm full of chocolate.
Oh no, I've got story ideas. But it was just like, yeah, I think, like, the more time we're stuck inside, the more, you know, you get those days, like, I've already had lots of those days where you just, like, this is a bit depressing, and I'm just going to put on a bunch of YouTube videos, or I'm just going to play some video games. But we all need to sort of take advantage and start thinking of it less as like a long weekend and more of like, no, this is still time that can be used for something that coming, like, let's have some silver linings to the whole situation come the end of it, you know?
Yeah, I think it's the same with me. Like there's a lot of free time when you're freelance. There's a lot of time, and it's fine to spend a Monday playing video games. But when you're at Wednesday and you're like, I could probably do something else. I had the same sort of experience as you. Obviously, we've worked on stuff together, but yeah, separately. Like, I've had this idea I wanted to do, and I sat down and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to start just writing and not try and. I've kind of got like a little basic kind of plot out, and I was like, you know what, I'll just try and burn through this like first scene because I can kind of picture it. And I did it all in a fucking day, and I was like, I haven't wrote the first scene of a fucking feature, and I was like, this is so good. And then I got in the shower. I think I had a shower or I was asleep. I woke up and I was like, I should change the age of this person. And I was like, but hang on a minute, like with a character's motive, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you have like if a character's young, there's a reason why they're acting that, and it's like, you know, the age you're at influences a story. And even, you know, Luke's film, you know, you meet a range of characters at this cult, and some of them are older, some of them are younger, middle age, maybe floated around, and I don't want to give too much away, and I'm sure when we get him on the vodcast, he'll definitely explain it way better than I can. But, you know, characters are influenced by a lot of different things, and age is one of them. And I was like, I'll change the age. And now I'm gonna have to change the entire scene because they're no longer this, they're this, and it's very hard to just get your own work and just go delete. But I think that shows progress, and it's like, you know, it's when you're doing it yourself, it's hard to keep track. But when you're watching somebody else work, it's interesting because you can kind of learn to be not as precious, and anything you are precious of, and you can keep it and make it work, then it's going to be worth more, like sort of down the road. But yeah, it'll be interesting for everyone to see Luke's film.
I wonder if at the end of this whole thing, how many short films and film scripts and all that, not just from us, but from everybody. It's like, right, there's going to be a baby boom in December, and there's going to be a shitload of fucking short film scripts and TV series pitches and all of that. Like, all that media that isn't happening now, it's just going to explode onto the screen. Yeah. And hopefully, like, there's only a small percentage of it about global pandemics, because you just got to be a bit more original, really. I mean, I definitely have thought to myself, like, because as far as I know, I think the Sci-Fi Film Festival or the 48-hour Sci-Fi Film Festival was still going to happen. And I would hope they would delay that a bit, because they shouldn't really be encouraging people to get together and, like, make stuff right now. But what I was thinking, I put this on our Twitter, and I was really disappointed that nobody, like, took it and retweeted it or got back to us. But, like, we should just, like, we need to get a way of, like, connecting with some people that could help us with this. But, like, just put on, like, a self-isolation film festival. Like, it's the perfect opportunity to everybody to be stuck using the same parameters and just see what different things can happen. Because imagine you're like, look, it's a short film festival, make something between 5 and 15 minutes, but you can only, it's all going to be in your house or in your garden. And then, like, yeah, if you want, like, someone else could edit it, someone else could do the music, someone else could write it, but it's all got to be done remotely. So, like, whoever's shooting it, it's literally whoever's in the house. So if it's like a family, you got your dad, your mom, your kids. If it's like someone like me or you, it's like we got me or you plus our girlfriends, and I've got a dog as another extra. But I just think it would be so interesting to see what people could come up with, and it's like it would be such a nice change from things like the 48-hour sci-fi film thing, where you see the films that they select at the end, and it's like these super highly produced things. Like, there are actual production companies working on this now. It's really lost that sort of independent vibe to it. And I remember thinking this like 5 or 6 years ago when we actually did one. So now I mean I haven't checked it out recently, but I can imagine it's even worse. So doing something like this where it's like, yeah, let's shoot it with your iPhone, shoot it with a DSLR, whatever you've got. Make a story that revolves around your house. Try to make it not about being locked in because there's a virus outside. Do something creative. Like there was the film that won the short film at the Oscars this year was pretty much, all about one apartment across from another apartment, wasn't it? So, hey, if anyone's interested who's watching this, let us know over on our Twitter at Filmageddon Quiz. You can email us, filmageddonfilmquiz@gmail.com. I just think it's a good idea. Like, we could, if we got enough people together, if there's, other companies out there, we could get some prizes together. Look, we're in this for at least like 11 more weeks, if not longer. So let's try to put that time to creative use.
Yeah,
that's my
rant. I agree. It's do you know what? I think it's interesting as well. Like you touched on that. These like short film festivals and having like, when you sound like a little bit younger and a little bit, less experienced and world weary, you just go like, everyone's going to be just like me there, except, they might be really good. And then when you get there and there's just like, fucking dads and they're all picking up like fucking like massive ARRI cameras and everything like that. It's, it does kind of go like, oh, what the fuck chance have I got?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you know what? It doesn't really matter technology wise. It's more about what you do with it. And, but this even goes back as far as like, I remember making my fucking graduation film, which is awful. And we got like screened at like the BFI, and it was like, oh my God, I get to be fucking like, my first film ever screened here. And fucking because it was at London Met, and like we had to shoot it on like 4x3, all this stuff. So like, it went, the screen just came in and we just screened it. And then I was like, nobody gives a fuck about this. And then it was like, okay, next university. And he pulled it open. And then there was like CGI tanks. And I'm like, Jesus, you guys have CGI. We have like fucking, we don't have widescreen. We don't have a wide lens. We're stuck doing TV fucking dimensions, old TV dimensions, which maybe shows how long ago I was at university. But I think the same thing. Like, it's if we've got all this time in these houses. To be honest, I saw the tweet and I didn't really understand it. If I'm honest,
it was very hard to in tweet length and to go off on a tangent. I just kept it to the one, but.
Yeah, I think I just didn't really understand. I was like, what? Okay, yeah. But now you've explained it, I totally get it. Like, there's definitely times you walk around your house and you're like, I could do this. And, what's the point? I can't be asked. So no, I think you've got it. We need to, Jeff Bezos watching.
Amazon, come on.
I know you should be paying the workers more.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Come on.
Or just hire some remote video editors, maybe.
Hey,
who do vodcasts, maybe.
Listen, it's up there, and if you want to reach Jeff, just reach out. I assume his hand's as wrinkly as mine. Reach out and grab it. Oh, it's like we're touching.
It's got to be said, with the excess in hand washing nowadays, my hand has gone very dry very quick. Like,
yeah, it's horrible.
It's I guess maybe I was just never washing my hands as much as everyone else, but my hands are really cracking now. It's like, and that between like the washing and the hand sanitizers with the alcohol in it, it's just like raisins.
Mine looks like a little bit, when he gets thrown in the well in Interview with the Vampire and he looks over and there's sort of like that dust fucking like mother and child and it like just whoosh away. That's what my hand looks like now. It's awful. That's what it looks like.
So my hands used to, I'm trying to get, they always say like, boom, you want that springy skin. You don't want it to take a while to go down. And now it's just like, where the knuckles are, it's like, I'll see you there in a week.
Oh yeah, I've always heard that.
I don't like it. I need to. Maybe I'm just a dirty person. Before this whole thing started, I remember being a kid and my mom and stuff being like, Frank, put some socks on. You're gonna like catch cold and all that. And as a kid, it's just like, no, I just don't want to wear socks. And now, like as an adult, I would do the same thing: walk around the house in my socks and do whatever. And my whole mindset was like, hey, look, I'm not going to use hand sanitizer. I'm not going to do all that because based off of no scientific fact at all, I was just like, I'm not going to use hand sanitizer and make my like skin less resistant to things. And like then I need the hand sanitizer. Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna let my body take in everything, and then I will be invincible against everything. And I've sort of realized that's probably not the case. Touch wood, no corona yet, but I don't want to really risk it with this thing. So I don't.
It's I used to work at I used to work at CEX. Oh God, yeah. And that is if you're looking for a breeding ground for fucking germs, just imagine the people who come into a CEX. And I remember fucking bringing in once a little clip, and you could put it on your pants. You could then have like a little ring, and I would put, no one else had this, by the way. I would put like hand sanitizer, and you could pull it, and then it would like draw back in. So basically, when I'd handle like someone's like horrible DVDs, and it's like they basically all look like giants who fucking hunt children in a BFG. And they're all just like, bleh. And I would go like, oh, okay, yeah, thanks. I'll take your DVD of Bon Jovi's fucking performance at Hyde Park '87, and then I'd always just have like a little bit of thing and just do hands. So yeah, it's this is nothing new to me. The disgusting thing of fucking of what the general public are spreading. Of course, now it's deadly, but yeah.
So I guess just before we wrap things up on the episode 2 of the Vodcast, what you've been doing, like, so obviously we said, hopefully trying to get more creative, and that will be like the thing moving forward, obviously, still, but in those times when you do just need something to take your mind off of the situation, what you've been doing?
I've done I've got a decent balcony that I look out of. I'm watching a park get redeveloped, so that's quite fun. I genuinely have watched grass grow. I know I made a joke about like Blur doing it. However, like this park's being redeveloped, so like the water's going down in the lake, which reveals the bed. And every day I go out and I'm like, there's more grass. Isn't it interesting how that works?
Is that the one that was across the street from your place? The big one that you would go running around?
Yeah, you can't run there anymore because now it's, well, A, you're not allowed to. B, I remember going like once stupidly at like 12 o'clock in the day, because I always forget that temperature is different during the day. So I went at like 12 o'clock and I was like, oh, I forgot my water. I'll be fine. And then maybe like on the second run round, I was like, I'm going to die, I think, on this. I'm going to die in a fucking park of dehydration. No one's going to find me. Yeah, so I'll look out on the balcony for a bit. I'll move around the house. I'll play Animal Crossing. I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing, Frank. I think everyone's annoyed about me talking about Animal Crossing.
What do you do in the game?
You do exactly what I can't do now. I go out and I get bells. I grab fruit from the tree. I dig up fossils. I meet new friends. Yes. I have a new friend who's a duck that looks like Blur. I've got a cat that says it likes to work out and said I had a big head before. And I was like, that's getting a bit too personal. I don't have the camera on the fucking thing. There's a kangaroo. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but it's got a little Joey. Right. There's a nice little one that's moved in now, Fluffy. Thinks she fancies me.
So is it, can you explain maybe to me, because I've never played one of these games. I do keep seeing online, what is the story, what is the deal, what is the issue with Tom Nook? Why does everybody seem to have it out for Tom Nook?
Basically, he is... So in previous games, there's always a different little setup. So, like, he is... You're on the... You move to an island, right? You move to this island, and he's there, and he's like, you're the new representative, which means bullshit, right? In the past games, I'm like the mayor, so I fucking run the show. I give the decrees. I make the national anthem. I make the flag. I'm the boss, okay? But in this one, he's kind of like, oh, I run this island basically. And he like runs this little bit where when you first get there, you got a shitty tent. And he's like, don't worry, I'll hook you up with a house. So then he's like, have the house. And you go, that's very nice. Why would this like raccoon thing give away a house? And then when you go to meet him the next day, he's like, you owe me money. You owe me like 100,000 or 98,000 bells, which is like the equivalent in pound to like, it's probably the same currency now, considering how bad the economy is. So you then have to pay him back. And the way you pay him back is by like selling stuff and collecting stuff and selling it. And then you pay him back and he's like, cool, do you want a bigger house? He's already got you. He's a heroin dealer, right? So I want a bigger house.
Right.
I've got no one to show it to. So I've got more stuff by this point because I collected a lot of stuff. So then I was sure, and he's like, cool, it's 198,000 you owe me.
Wait, so...
Well, then we keep going.
I mean, I don't... So he's just a bit of a...
There he is, a little bastard.
He's a bit of a dick, then.
He is. He drives me nuts. He's the core. He's basically capitalism, and I know that's eventually. And all that'll be left is just the remnants, like aliens coming down and seeing fucking the history of the Earth. They'll find Tom Nook and they'll be like, or Nook, whatever his fucking name is. Hey, I don't know what he says. He just says like this in the games. So yeah, it's a game of nothing, and yet I think about it like 100% of my day. Yeah. What about you, Frank? Are you doing anything other than trying to be creative? Because we're all lying to each other here. We're not really being that creative. No. You did. What are you doing to starve off putting the
Well, what am I doing? I'm taking the dog out for one walk a day. So that's good. I get to do that legally. I could do it more, but that would technically be against the rules. And I'm a firm believer in following the rules so that we get out of this mess earlier. That doesn't mean that everyone else in the park feels the same way, because they're just chilling out, chatting on benches. Gets me annoyed. Anyway, what else am I doing? I'm still playing some games. I mean, I want to watch some more films. Like, look, we talked about it on the podcast the vodcast that you'll never see, but Disney Plus came out, and I've been watching through all the Pixar shorts on Disney Plus just because like those are normally you see them at the start of the film in theaters and you never see them again. And there was a few that I hadn't seen yet, like Bao, and some other ones. Oh, yeah. So I was watching all those. Those are quite good. And then I started dipping into some of like the classic cartoons they had on there. So they had like Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. They had Darkwing Duck. I was literally just gut flipping between them just to watch the intros with the songs again. Pretty lame. I've been on the high seas, pirating as much as I physically can. Every time I see a film. Every time I see something is coming to digital on a certain day, I know that within minutes it'll be up on various websites. And let's just say I've got a little thing burning a hole in one of my hard drives, a little bloodshot-shaped thing burning a hole in one of my hard drives.
No, you'll get you.
The illness is taking hold. I've been taking my temperature a lot. I've been taking it pretty much like 4 or 5 times a day. I'll do a live one now. Let's see. What's a normal temperature in Celsius? It's like
not what I'm fucking experiencing right now.
I think it's like 37 point
37
something. Well, let's see.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, Frank. Tune would measure the temperature of somebody. I had my temperature taken today with a gun. They put it against your head, and they always do the little lasering thing. That was fun, but they don't tell you the results. But the results for Frank's test is coming up.
This should have gone a lot quicker. Oh, I turned it off. I'll do it again.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, yeah. It's weird though, like with this old temperature thing. Like, I don't know if I said it on the last one, but like you have to like in order to get into our building, they have to take your temperature. And then, like, I was getting it taken, and then the guy wrote my name next to this other woman's, and I was like, she's, like, a degree higher than me.
36.4.
You're cold.
I know. I always run cold, so... I'm basically dead already.
I've seen you run very hot in different temperatures.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why I don't live in Thailand, and it's because
Me neither.
No, but it's a lovely country. It's just very, very hot all the time. All the time. Why isn't there a winter? Or is there is a winter, it's just hot. It's hot like summer. I don't get it.
Yeah, I just go to the supermarket to have the air conditioning, and now I can't do that. So I just think about being cold. This bottle didn't just drink itself; it just evaporated. You open it up, and it's like it's like a gas bomb, just like gone. Like, oh, okay.
Well, I guess that's as good a point as that. Should we wrap this thing up?
Yes.
Let's wrap away. Let's get it so you can turn on that air conditioner. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us, watching episode 2 of the Vodcast. I know for a fact, because I've just realized a few things, that there will be a couple of points where the sound dropped out and other bits happened. But, 95% of the way we're there. We're close. It's just finishing, figuring out these last few little audio issues. Hopefully another couple of episodes, as we said, and we'll be ready to start streaming these things. So we'll do them live, which means you can see all the fuck-ups. But speaking of live broadcasts, like I said, we are trying to bring together, or put together, as it were, a live film quiz. So, we were originally supposed to do a film quiz at the Prince Charles Cinema on April 15th of this year. So the goal that I have in mind right now is to try to do a live stream one at the same date. So April 15th, I'm not going to officially confirm it yet because I want to make sure everything works. But if it does, the place you're going to be able to see that is probably over on our YouTube where we'll stream it. So make sure you subscribe to that. Search for Filmageddon on YouTube. Look for our symbol. There's 2 of them, and we don't have enough followers to get our own unique URL yet. So just search for it. It won't be hard to find. Subscribe to that so you don't miss when vodcasts go up, so you don't miss when some of our podcasts go up, and when we want to do live streams in the future. Follow us over on Twitter, where we are Filmageddon Quiz, at Filmageddon Quiz. It's all below us. I don't even need to say it. They're all there. Just search for those. We're going to start doing some video game streams again as well, so Chicken Boys will let you know about all of that.
Oh, no.
We gotta pick a game.
So bad at everything. Everything I try and do is bad. I try and do a game with somebody else, and it's like, you finished last. And I'm like, I'm just never going to be good at anything except this Animal Crossing game.
You could live stream Animal Crossing. Does the Switch have any sort of live streaming thing going to it?
No.
This is why we don't normally live stream. But anyway, okay. Thank you everybody for watching this. Hopefully, it was supposed to be 2 episodes this week. We recorded, like I said, another one. Next week, maybe 2 episodes. And then definitely a podcast coming your way on Sunday or Monday. So make sure you subscribe to us on pretty much every platform you can do. Look for Filmageddon, Film Quiz, Filmageddon, all that good stuff. Like, follow, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell icon, everything that everybody wants you to do. Do all of it. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.